Welcome to Moon Harbor Heroes. Today's issue is Faces issue 15, Exit Stage Left. On the cover, a shadowy figure stands in a cloud of dust and rubble at the front of the soundstage. The team, in costume, are on the stage in fighting stances. To both sides of the stage, we see crowds of stampeding concertgoers. We turn the page and our story begins.
Ryder is going to press a button on the keyboard, which continues playing the sheet music, and he's going to leap over the keyboard beside Lighthammer. He's going to quickly grab the pager off the side and just pocket it real quick, give Lighthammer a kiss on the cheek, and be like, "We've got to go now," and then say it's time, and you're going to see the entire morphing sequence in front of the crowd before he grabs Lighthammer around the waist and leaps into the air towards where Brian or where the flashes of light are coming from, because he can now clearly see those.
Cool. I'm going to start this with a comforter support.
That's cute. I'm not going to accept it.
I love it.
Lighthammer is not comforted. Lighthammer is not supported. Lighthammer is angry and bitter right now.
Okay. So we get the transformation, and before you leap off the stage, I'm going to get everyone else on stage a chance to do their thing.
All right.
Yeah, I think he reaches for me, and I'm not there. I think I took a solid, step to the side after the cheek kiss. So he, reaches to grab me and just grabs empty air.
Beautiful.
And reached behind me and pulled the hammer off my back. The hammer, lives between my back and my cape, and I've just, pulled it out. And I'm like, I can get there myself, thanks. And then I jump towards the lights.
And Carl?
I think that Carl is drumming so loudly at this point that he's not aware that the thing was yelled into the audience. And I guess the stage is now empty, right? Because both of my bandmates
Lighthammer and Ryder both jumped.
Yeah, so Carl thinks that this is just part of the act, I guess. So he splits into 5 different Carls that are slightly smaller, and they each grab a drum and they go and stand at the front of the stage, and they do this marching band rhythm, and they start doing this really cool epic finale. And then
excellent,
after 30 seconds of that, he realizes that they're gone, and I guess at that point he drops the drums and jumps after them.
I love it. And then our next panel is the big double doors to the lower level of this area, this stadium, and they get kicked open. T, can you go ahead and describe Greyhammer for me?
Yeah, it's wild because Greyhammer is dead, but this person is in the Greyhammer suit, which looks just like my suit, except if you took away the gold and teal and replaced it with gray and red, so it's gray, silver, and red. The suit that I'm currently wearing used to be the Greyhammer armor, but was repurposed and remade. Greyhammer is a little bit older than me, probably in his early 30s. About the same musculature, very broad, very big. And considering he used the Lighthammer, I assume he's got some other form of weaponry with him. I don't know what that looks like, but
no, he has the Lighthammer.
He has the Lighthammer. Okay, cool.
He steps forward in this cloud of splinters and dust and looks straight at Lighthammer and says, "So, you're the one pretending to be me. And I want to go ahead and have us enter battle against a dangerous foe." Yeah, who is the team leader at the moment?
Either Ryder or Brian.
I think it's Ryder.
Carl would have no idea yet who Brian is really, because he's just back. So I think it would be Ryder. Yeah.
Everyone good with that?
Sure, yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay. Does the leader have influence over every teammate?
Yes, I do.
Cool. Ryder Typhon, what is your purpose in this fight? If you need me to set the scene again, I can.
Yeah, if you'll set the scene real quick.
Cool. We've got Greyhammer, who's just busted in through the doors. The crowd is in a pretty big panic. There's likely a stampede to start. And Greyhammer's kind of standing in the way of the main, most obvious way out. I believe Lighthammer and yourself are kind of in the aisle leading to the door. Probably, let's assume about halfway up. And I think Carl's coming up behind, and we have Brian. Where do you want to position yourself? You were kind of off to the side in the balcony. Do you want to still be in that? You could have moved in this time.
I will jump out at some point.
Okay, cool. So we'll just have you up like an ambiguous off-right stage at the moment. There's bears over there. Wait, sorry, that's left stage? And I think Violet Songbird is probably coming out on the stage from behind stage at this point. So she's back on the stage. Yeah, but that's the scene.
Yes,
So what is
back.
your primary objective?
I have two main goals. I guess the main goal is to protect the crowd, and secondary goal would be to protect Violet.
Okay, cool. Carl, we'll start with you. What's your goal?
I think it's the same as Ryder.
Cool. Brian?
To protect the crowd, he doesn't really care about Violet in particular.
Cool. And Lighthammer.
I really want to say that it's going to be protect the crowd, but I think Lighthammer wants to put on as big a show as possible.
Do you see why I held you for last?
Yeah, I knew why you held me for last.
Okay. Does any team member mistrust the leader or the team?
No, I'm mad at him, but I don't mistrust him.
I trust Ryder.
Ryder mistrust Ryder. I'm kidding.
Okay. And are you ill prepared or off balance? Yeah, I'm going to say no.
I don't think we are.
Cool. So that leaves us with 3 team.
I have war paint. I'm over prepared.
Sorry, 4 team, because I forgot the one you start with. I actually want to start this off with Brian. Do you want to start this or do you want to jump in?
Are the rest of the crew still near the stage?
We have Ryder Typhon and Lighthammer about halfway up the middle aisle, kind of squaring off, facing off about towards Greyhammer, and then Carl a bit behind them, working his way up the aisle.
I'm going to wait for Greyhammer to possibly move forward a little bit first.
Okay, cool. I'll jump back to you when like Greyhammer's about like halfway up the aisle, in the middle of the room.
Yeah.
Does that work? Okay, cool.
Ryder is going to put a hand to his ear as if to press a communicator of sorts and speak to the team. We've got to get these people out of here. What are our emergency exits?
They're the ones labeled emergency exit. And we look around and they're like clearly labeled like giant red signs.
Yeah, I think we have like one about like at the midway point on the 2 far sides of the building.
Ryder's going to shoot a glance at Lighthammer and then say, "No, I meant, are they clear? Sorry."
I think I like gesture and I'm like, I put my helmet on at this point, and so I'm like, "Hey, Carl, can we make sure we're clear? Make sure emergency exits are good?"
Carl just goes, "Don't worry. If they aren't, I'll just make new ones."
Beautiful. Lighthammer, you with me on this?
Sure.
I want to take down the entrance that we're standing at and put it on Greyhammer.
Oh, like knock the...
I want to do the same thing we did in the cavern, except to the entrance.
All right. I think we get you unleashing your powers. Tell us what it looks like when you start it up and then roll.
Okay. I'm gonna look to Lighthammer and hope that he's in on what I'm doing, and I'm gonna lift my hand in the air. My sword's gonna materialize. It's gonna begin to glow, and I'm going to bring it down and slam into the ground with it, hoping to break the supports that hold the entrance up properly. And now I will roll freak.
I'm doing this with him, but he got a 10, so I'm not gonna like toss it in a team to help him, you know.
Oh, we're gonna have a panel where we do the thing. Except in this panel, you can see a clear like through the face masks where Ryder is fully in on it, and Lighthammer is completely not.
Yeah, Lighthammer is very much like going through the motions. Like Lighthammer's like, yeah, I know, I have to swing the hammer and break the thing. It's gonna fall on him. It'll be fine. But he's like
very angry.
Yeah, it's like he's like very like jaw tight and stone faced.
We get the collapse of the entryway on top of Greyhammer, so he's just covered in rubble. And I think most of his hammer is sticking out of the rubble, and it lies still for a moment. At that point, though, the crowd just starts stampeding for the side exits. Carl, you want to jump in? What do you do?
I'm going to launch myself at the pile of rubble and just smash into it, swimming pool bomb style.
Go ahead and give me a roll to directly engage. I like this team doesn't take chances in these words. Like, they're down. Still beat the shit out of them. Now y'all get good rolls. Cool, pick 2 off the list. So you're running towards the pile, he's starting to stand up and shake this rubble off of him. It's slow going, but he's starting to stand. To give you kind of a frame here.
I'm going to resist his blows, and I'm going to frighten him.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, if you want to narrate how you beat up on him. Go ahead. Nike will take it over from there.
I think that I launch into the air before he gets out of the rubble, so he like pokes his head out of the rubble and like shakes off the rubble, and then suddenly out of nowhere, this huge golem-like shape just drops right on top of him and flattens him onto the floor.
Excellent. And we get like him getting flattened, and then the hammer goes flying out of his hand, and it like skids to the ground, I think right at Lighthammer's feet. Would it be presumptive of me to assume you try to pick it up?
I think, yeah, I'll pick it up.
So yeah, we get the you reaching down to grab it, and right before you do, it has this spark of like this neon purple energy and just ceases to exist, just poofs. And I think we're gonna cut to Brian getting this overarching shot of the whole area, and you can see these crowds starting to trample each other, trying to get out. People are definitely getting hurt. What do you do?
I am up somewhere on. I mean, like, there's some kind of. There's got to be some kind of frame that whatever entrance they're going through is.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm up. I'm up on that frame, and I drop down, and I'm going to try and. I am going to try and produce some sort of cue or some sort of divider to force people to walk single file.
What are you making it with?
So I am going to take out a device that was originally meant to be a part for a robot, some kind of javelin device. I'm going to quickly reach inside and pull out the pointy bit and swap it with something else and have it extend out. What I'm trying to do is trigger my always prepared move.
Using a gadget? Yeah, go ahead. I'm into it. Crowd control guardrails. And that's a 12. So yeah, go ahead and narrate what that looks like. I think you can clear out one side, like make one side safe for the crowd.
Right, so I did already describe most of it, but some other details worth adding are that I now have a mask on. It looks similar to before in the last issue. Some kind of toy writer's mask cut up. Some lines have been added to it. And I also have a cape. Might have gotten that idea from a friend that lives nearby.
Perfect. And then I think we're going to cut from there to Greyhammer struggling under Carl's golem foot. And I assume like Lighthammer and Ryder stepping up towards this. We'll do the reverse of the normal Ryder shot. It's a bottom-up view from Greyhammer's perspective.
Yeah, I think Ryder like went to step forward, and like Lighthammer like steps in front of him and then like gets to Greyhammer first. And I think I'm standing over Greyhammer and I'm like, I'm sorry, this is actually a solo show. And then I grab the helmet and go to pull the helmet off to see who's underneath.
It is the face of who everyone remembers as Greyhammer. Much more scarred and kind of beat up than you've ever seen before, and much older.
I think I like physically stumble back, and I'm like, no, George.
And at that, Greyhammer starts pushing up on Carl's foot and pushes Carl off him and pulls himself to his feet. He reaches behind him where you normally keep your hammer, and we see that same crackling purple neon and pulls his hammer out. Ryder, what are you doing?
How is the crowd situation looking right now?
As I imagined it, I don't know which direction, but like half of it is taken care of. So like facing, in my mind, it was stage left, but it really doesn't matter which side.
All right. So Ryder wants to leap into the air and fire a Ryder blade beam at the other exit to knock a larger hole to allow more people out easier. And as I leap in the air, I'm going to say to Carl and Lighthammer, you have this, right? We've got to get these crowd out of here, and somebody's got to protect Violet. And before I leap off to do that, and I'm going to try to land beside Violet, who I'm assuming still on the stage, because with this person, I don't know what they're going to do, and they may, have accomplices. We don't know that.
Yeah. Violet Songbird has not run, but is not approaching. Like, She knows that she's not as strong as she used to be, and this gray hammer looks terrifying. Go ahead and roll to unleash your powers.
Yay. Okay.
So that's a 6.
I'll bump that up to a 7.
How are you helping?
I see him like swing the blade, and I think just kind of instinctively, like I raise the hammer and shoot off the beam of sound at the same place that he was shooting the beam. Like we've practiced that so many times that I know, like, oh, we're trying to do the thing where we like knock buildings down, and like this is clearly to like open the door bigger. I think it's just like basic instinct, where I just like bring the hammer up and almost without looking, just like blast and help.
I like it. So that brings that up to a 7. So on a 7 to 9, mark a condition, or I'll tell you how it's unstable or temporary.
I will mark a condition, and I'm going to say that I am insecure.
Noticing that you needed Lighthammer's help.
Yep.
So yeah, we get the blast hitting the wall, and then you landing on the stage beside Songbird. And then I think we get a cut panel to this wider opening and people just spilling out, and the crowd emptying out. And we are going to cut back to Greyhammer charging at Carl, swinging this hammer. Carl, what do you do?
Carl is gonna try to lay down some more beatdown and try to grapple Greyhammer into submission.
Cool. I think we get this cool panel of like Carl like just swinging a fist and like the hammer's coming in at the other side. So go ahead and roll to directly engage. What are these rolls?
Amazing.
So that's a 10.
Yeah, Carl is doing well today.
Pick 2.
Okay, I'm going to so I'm grabbing him and grappling him, and I'm going to use that to resist his blows and to rip off his armor. Which armor parts did you say that are the same as Lighthammer?
The vast majority of it.
Yeah,
Pretty much most of it, but the chest piece, right?
I think the reason is the chest piece and the pants are just like fabric, right?
Yeah, the chest piece, and there's like armored shoulder pads essentially.
Is he still wearing his helmet? Because he took it off for a second, right? I think Lighthammer pulled it off.
Yeah, so I don't believe he's wearing his helmet. I think that is laying on the ground, and next time we see it, there's the crackle of energy and it disappears.
I'm going to rip off the boots then, I think. If you want
to use your take something from him to be the armor, I think you can just rip off most of the armor.
Yeah, I'm just going to rip off all of the Lighthammer-y looking bits then.
Cool. Lighthammer, can you give us a description of what Greyhammer looks like out of costume? Because I actually don't know.
Greyhammer is a white man. He is about 5'9", 5'10". Pretty muscular, though he's older now, so less muscular than he was. He had gotten the like Lighthammer logo, which is like an L and an H with a hammer across the top of it, tattooed like on his shoulder, and then like tried to like burn it away when he became Greyhammer, so his back is just like riddled in scars. He has dark hair and light eyes.
Cool. And I think we get the panel of like Carl having ripped off the majority of the armor. And I'm just going to say you're like holding him in place. You have him held. He's fairly helpless at this point. And then the just individual pieces of armor with this sparkling purple neon and then them poofing. And Lighthammer, what do you do?
I think I'm going to go over and like get in his face and be like, "Who are you?" And then I think I'm going to pierce his mask.
Okay.
There's that fail I was hoping for. That's a 3.
So we get this panel of you with your finger in his face. And then he gets this very hard, no-nonsense look. And then cracks a smile and goes, "It's fine. We'll just try again." Remix says hello. And then just the purple neon energy crackles across his whole body. And he just poofs. And I think we get a nice overhead shot of the pretty beaten up amphitheater. And who wants spotlight here?
I think I'm immediately going to turn and like race for Violet Songbird.
Okay.
I'm going to tag along.
I think I'm going to be like, "We have to get backstage now."
As we run towards backstage, would we have heard through your helmet, through your gear, what the person said?
I don't think so.
Okay, just making sure.
Carl probably heard.
Asma, what are you doing?
I am getting Isaac to help move the rubble.
To what end? Like cleaning up, clearing out paths, or?
Mostly just cleaning up.
Okay, cool.
It,
So, yeah,
it looks like you could trip over it easily.
Ryder was going to look at Light and Carl and say, do you guys need me here, or do I need to help Brian clean the mess up? Because I'm unaware of whatever happened over there.
So yeah, we're back in the green room. I think we've got Songbird probably going through a planner / her contacts written all in a big contact book, trying to find any mention of this remix, seeing if it's someone they used to know, and we have the team also in the room.
So Ryder's armor would dissipate, and the shot that shows the team would be him without his armor on. His buckler's on his belt, of course. And he wants to look at Lighthammer, and he's going to walk over to Lighthammer and say, "Are you okay? That was pretty intense."
I think Lighthammer's pretty immersed in his phone. I think I'm texting a bunch of people to try to find out what people know about Remix. And I think I want to do my seek help from my audience move.
Okay. You have to tell me how that works.
When you seek help from your audience, roll plus superior. On a hit, someone in your audience can hook you up. On a 10 plus, they only make a small demand. On a 7 to 9, their demands are a lot higher. On a miss, you've made a mistake, and your audience won't help you until you've redeemed yourself in their eyes.
Okay, awesome.
13. So I think I actually tweeted out, has anyone heard of this Remix character? We need to figure out what's going on.
I think you get a DM from @ToTheMax because Max can't even use his super handle. Super handle? I like that word. And keep them straight. And you get a, hey, I can't really explain why I have this, but I have a bit of a file on them. And I think it's a PDF with Monarch Power logoing at the top when you open it, letterhead. And the small demand is Max is definitely demanding a selfie with you.
I think I'm yeah, sure. And tickets to the next concert. I got you. Thank you. And then I think I turn up to Felix and I'm all right, we have this. We'll figure out what happened, I guess. I think we see Lighthammer go for a hug and then stop himself and then straighten his shoulders and be I guess I'll send this to the group, the email, make sure everyone has a copy of it.
Ryder's actually going to go for the hug and say, to hell with the email. We're all right here. Just tell us. And then I'm going to hug Lighthammer.
I think we see Lighthammer tense as if he's going to refuse and then fully bury his head into Ryder's shoulder and start crying.
So I have a question. Is Ryder taller than Lighthammer, or Lighthammer taller than Ryder?
I think you're taller than I am.
Okay, I thought so.
I'm taller than you are. I'm 5'11".
Okay, yeah, Ryder's 6'2".
Oh, well then, yeah, taller than I am.
It feels kind of like it's ruining the mood after that. But I need Brian to have shivers go down his spine and say, that felt good.
I like it.
As they hug, Carl is gonna turn around and leave the room. And as he leaves the room, I imagine that the room they're standing in backstage is lit, and he walks out the door into the darkness, and you can see a panel. You can see Carl's front, and then behind him you can see the two hugging, and Carl is crying, and you can see the butterfly on his chest glows a bright pink.
Moon Harbor Heroes is produced by Anthony Sheets and TP Huth, and edited by Anthony Sheets. Anthony can be found on Twitter @IcyNewYear or at icynewyear.com. T is the host of Incubator on Air, a new play podcast available on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, and Google Play. She can be found at T Huth Playwright on Twitter or TPHuth94 on Instagram. Faces is GM by me, Anthony Sheets. Asimov is played by EXPHP. You probably won't find him at itsexphp on Twitter, but it's worth a try. Carl is played by Simon Meskins. You can find him on Twitter as Jill Vareka. Lighthammer is played by TP Huth. Ryder Typhon is played by Kaido Kane. Kaido is a Twitch personality and loves their 3 mischievous cats. You can find them at The Versian on Twitter, and as Kaido Kane on twitch.tv. Our logo was designed by Beautiful Beasties. She can be found on Instagram at beastly.doodles or at patreon.com/beautifulbeasties. The music in this issue is Black Vortex by Kevin MacLeod. A link to his website and the license will be in the show notes. If you want to get a hold of us, email us at moonharborheroes@gmail.com or find us on Twitter at moonharborcast. If you enjoyed this issue, please leave us a review on iTunes and tell a friend. Word of mouth and 5-star reviews are really the best way for us to keep bringing these stories to more people. If you'd like to support us financially, check us out on patreon.com/moonharborheroes. Supporting us there will give you access to bonus episodes each month. And thanks for helping us save the world. We'll see you next issue.